Hello, English learners. Welcome back to English Pod. My name is Marco.
And I'm Erica.
Today, we're bringing you a lesson about the office, so something related to business, right?
That's right. And in this lesson, we're learning language you can use to tell someone they did a good job.
Okay, so a job well done. You want to praise somebody.
That's right. So we're going to listen in as a manager praises his employee on a presentation.
Okay, so before we listen to the dialogue, let's take a look very quickly at vocabulary preview.
Vocabulary preview.
Well, we're going to hear both of these words in the dialogue, and the first one is a whiz.
Whiz.
To be a whiz.
Okay, so it's an adjective. Somebody is a whiz.
That's right. And whiz comes from the word wizard.
Okay, so kind of like a witch, but a guy witch.
Yeah, man witch. But so a whiz is someone who is really good at something.
Okay, so I can say David is a computer whiz.
Or Anthony is a math whiz.
Okay, so he's really good at computers, or he's really good at math, or he knows a lot about math.
Exactly.
Okay, and our second word.
Well, we're going to hear about slides.
Slides.
PowerPoint slides.
PowerPoint slides. Okay, so everyone knows PowerPoint, right?
A computer program.
A computer program that you use to make presentations.
And a slide is one page in that presentation.
Okay, so if you have 10 pages in your PowerPoint presentation, you basically have 10 slides.
Exactly.
Very good. So now let's listen to the dialogue for the first time, and we're going to see what's happening in this business meeting.
And so that concludes my outline for our marketing strategy next year. Thank you very much for your time.
Hey, that was quite the presentation. Honestly, I was completely blown away by your strategy outline. I've got to say, Alex, you really wowed me today.
Come on. It was nothing. I'm just doing my job.
No, I think you deserve some recognition here. I mean, if I look back on your previous presentations, this is a huge improvement.
Well, Kristen did give me a hand with the slides. She's a real whiz on PowerPoint.
And I saw that you took on board my feedback about pricing strategies. I really appreciate you taking the time to think through my suggestions.
Yeah, well, that was some good advice. You made some really good points.
Well, I just wanted to say, well done. Really, you did a great job.
All right, well, it sounds like the employee is a little bit shy or embarrassed by receiving all of these compliments.
Yeah, I guess he's kind of being humble about it.
Exactly. So why don't we move on to the language now? There are so many really useful phrases in this dialogue that I think we're just going to focus on those today. So let's get started with Fluency Builder.
Fluency Builder.
Okay, so today on Fluency Builder, let's start with our first phrase. The boss was so impressed with the presentation that he said, I was completely blown away.
To be completely blown away.
Okay, so to be completely blown away.
Or to be blown away.
All right, so what does that mean, to be blown away?
To be surprised and amazed, but in a very positive way.
Okay, so I can say, I'm surprised, I'm amazed, but I'm still not very clear on this. Why don't we listen to a couple of examples of how we could use this phrase?
Example 1.
Carl blew me away with his knowledge of political science.
Example 2.
I was blown away when I heard that Jenny and Rick had gotten married. They've known each other for less than a month.
Example 3.
My parents were blown away when they found out I had a tattoo.
Okay, so I think that's a little bit clearer now. And this is a wonderful way to give your praise to someone when they do something really amazing.
Okay, so completely blown away. You blew me away.
That's right.
Now, what about our second word?
Well, it's quite similar. The boss said that you really wowed me.
You wowed me.
To wow someone.
Okay, so it's spelled W-O-W, wow.
So when you wow someone, you make that person go, wow.
Okay, so you impress somebody.
Yep.
To wow someone. I can use it as a verb.
Yep.
You wowed me. I want to wow you.
Well, I want you to wow me.
Okay, so wow. Now let's take a look at our third phrase. The guy, he's a little bit shy. He's trying to be a little bit humble about, receiving so many compliments. So he says, oh, it was nothing.
It was nothing.
Really, it was nothing.
It was nothing.
So that's a way of saying it wasn't hard or it's not a big deal.
It's not that important.
Exactly. So if somebody's saying, wow, thank you so much for lending me your car. Don't
It was
worry about
nothing.
It was nothing. Mm-hmm. All right.
It's a polite way, actually, to respond to a nice compliment.
Very good. So before we move on to our next phrase, let's listen to a couple of examples with it was nothing.
Example 1.
Thanks for lending me your car this week. I really appreciate it.
It's okay, really. It was nothing.
Example 2.
I can't believe you organized this surprise birthday party. Thank you so much.
Don't worry about it. It was nothing.
Okay, so I think that's pretty clear. Now, our final phrase here for Fluency Builder. The employee said that Kirsten gave him a hand.
Okay, so to give someone a hand.
Give me a hand.
Give me a hand.
Basically to help someone.
Help me or assist me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so to help someone, give me a hand or let me give you a hand.
That's right.
All right, very good. So great phrases in Fluency Builder today. I think it's time for us to listen to the dialogue for the second time. We're going to slow it down a little bit so we can catch all these phrases, and then we'll come back.
And so that concludes my outline for our marketing strategy for next year. Thank you very much for your time.
Hey, that was quite the presentation. Honestly, I was completely blown away by your strategy outline. I've got to say, Alex, you really wowed me today.
Ah, come on. It was nothing. I'm just doing my job.
No, I think you deserve some recognition here. I mean, if I look back on your previous presentations, this is a huge improvement.
Well, Kristen did give me a hand with the slides. She's a real whiz on PowerPoint.
And I saw that you took on board my feedback about pricing strategies. I really appreciate you taking the time to think through my suggestions.
Yeah, well, that was some good advice. You made some really good points.
Well, I just wanted to say, well done. Really, you did a great job.
Okay, so like we said before, there's a lot of really helpful phrases in here. And we're going to look at a few more of these in putting it together.
Putting it together.
Okay, so let's start with the first phrase. The boss was quite impressed with him, and he said, that was quite the presentation.
That was quite the presentation.
All right, quite the presentation.
So this phrase, quite the presentation, it means it was good, right? Mm-hmm. It was special.
It was very good.
Yep. Now we can take the noun presentation out and replace it with any other noun.
All right, so I can say Bob is quite the basketball player.
Mm-hmm. Why don't we listen now for a few more examples?
Example 1.
I heard you are quite the dancer. Can you teach me some moves?
Example 2.
Carl is quite the ladies' man. He is very good when it comes to talking to girls.
Example 3.
Nancy is quite gifted at math. She can solve any math problem you give her.
So you're saying in a very good way that something is very good.
Or special.
Very special.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
All right. So the boss was very impressed with the employee, and he said, and I saw that you took on board my feedback.
To take on board my feedback.
Okay, so take on board something.
Mm-hmm. So here, my feedback is my suggestions, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when you take on board my feedback, you accept my feedback and you use it.
Okay, so I can say, for example, I want you to take on board my ideas.
Or Jenny took on board a few of my suggestions. I was really happy.
Okay, very good. So to take on board, to accept and use.
All right, so take on board feedback, take on board suggestion, take on board ideas.
Okay, very good. And we have one more phrase. I'm putting it together today. To think something through.
To think it through.
Okay, so think it through.
So here, the boss said that he took the time to think through my suggestions.
So think through, what does that mean?
To think carefully about all of the details of something.
Okay, so to take into consideration all the aspects.
Right. So why don't we give an example? If you're thinking through a plan, right, you don't just think about the end, the outcome.
Okay.
You want to think about all of the small details, the steps in that plan.
Okay, so maybe I want to buy a new car, but it's a lot of money, so I really have to think it through.
So you have to think carefully about everything that is involved in buying the new car. All the money you're going to have to not spend on parties and...
Exactly. You have to think it through. You have to analyze it very carefully.
That's right. So let's give a few examples of how we can use this phrase. Hey, Marco, have you thought through my suggestions?
I can say you guys are very young. I think you should think it through before you get married.
Good advice.
Okay. So to think it through.
Okay. So 3 great phrases, and why don't we hear them one more time in our dialogue?
And so that concludes my outline for our marketing strategy next year. Thank you very much for your time.
Hey, that was quite the presentation. Honestly, I was completely blown away by your strategy outline. I've got to say, Alex, you really wowed me today.
Come on. It was nothing. I'm just doing my job.
No, I think you deserve some recognition here. I mean, if I look back on your previous presentations, this is a huge improvement.
Well, Kristen did give me a hand with the slides. She's a real whiz on PowerPoint.
And I saw that you took on board my feedback about pricing strategies. I really appreciate you taking the time to think through my suggestions.
Yeah, well, that was some good advice. You made some really good points.
Well, I just wanted to say, well done. Really, you did a great job.
Okay, great dialogue and some interesting phrases for giving praise, right? That's, I think, very important in the workplace.
Yeah, and you know what? I read recently that something like 6 out of every 10 employees don't get regular praise from their boss.
Yeah, it's very important. And in some cultures, well, it's not very common to praise or to give positive feedback to their employees.
Yeah, but I think for Western employees, actually, it's really important, and it helps them work harder. The more times they hear "job well done."
Yeah, very good. So now you have the tools that maybe you can use with your employees or
with your friends. Yep.
Okay.
Have you ever received praise that made you feel truly proud? Or maybe you've given a compliment that encouraged someone to do even better? Share your experiences. Because today, we explore the powerful language of giving and receiving praise. In everyday life, whether at school, at work, or even with friends, words of appreciation can make a huge difference. They can motivate, build confidence, and create stronger relationships. Imagine finishing a project and hearing someone say, "I'm really impressed by your work." That one sentence can make all your effort feel worthwhile. This is why learning the right expressions for praise is so important, not only to understand them, but also to use them naturally. When you want to compliment someone, it's best to be clear and genuine. Instead of only saying, "Good job," you can say, "You did an excellent job explaining that," or "I love how you made everything so easy to understand." These sentences are simple, but they show more detail, which makes the praise sound stronger and more sincere. Learners of English often stop at the basic phrases, but adding just a few extra words can make your compliments more powerful. Another useful way to praise someone is by expressing surprise or excitement. For example, you can say, "Wow, that was amazing," or "I didn't expect it to be so good." These little words like wow, amazing, or so good add emotion, and emotion makes your praise sound more real. Imagine how different it feels to hear, that was good, compared to, wow, that was really amazing. The second one feels warmer and more encouraging. It's also helpful to learn expressions that make praise sound more professional, especially in a work or study environment. Phrases like, that was a very clear explanation, or you presented your ideas very effectively, not only show respect, but also give the person specific feedback. This kind of praise is practical because it tells the other person exactly what they did well. When you are the one receiving praise, it's just as important to respond naturally. Many people don't know what to say when someone compliments them. The easiest response is a simple thank you, but you can also use other polite replies. For example, you might say, I appreciate that, or I'm glad you found it helpful. These responses show gratitude without sounding too formal. Sometimes you may feel shy about praise and want to be modest. In English, you can do this politely without rejecting the compliment. For example, if someone says, that was a great presentation, you might reply, thanks, I worked hard on it, or thank you, I'm happy it went well. This way, you accept the praise, but also show humility. Praise, whether giving or receiving it, is more than just words. It's about connection. The more you practice using these expressions, the easier it will be to create positive moments with others. And the best part is, these phrases are useful in almost every area of life, at school, at work, with friends, and even with family. Giving praise can sometimes feel tricky, especially when you want to sound natural and not too formal. One helpful way is to use everyday expressions that people commonly say in real conversations. For example, instead of only saying, that was great, you can make it sound more casual and friendly by saying, that was awesome, or you really nailed it. These are common phrases that English speakers use when they are impressed, and they can make your praise feel more genuine. Another useful phrase is, I'm blown away. This means you are very surprised and impressed at the same time. Imagine someone tells a story, sings a song, or gives a presentation, and you say, I'm blown away by how good that was. This kind of praise is powerful because it shows strong emotion, and it makes the other person feel proud of what they achieved. You can also use comparisons to make your compliment stronger. For example, that was one of the best explanations I've ever heard, or you did better than I expected. Comparisons like these help the other person understand exactly how much you appreciated their work. They are easy to use, but they sound very natural and very encouraging. Sometimes praise can be light and playful, especially with friends. You might say, you're quite the storyteller, or you're really good at making things clear. A phrase, quite the, is a friendly way to show admiration. It's not too formal, but it still makes the person feel special. These small expressions can create a relaxed and positive atmosphere. When praising, it's also nice to mention specific details. Instead of just saying, good job, think about what stood out to you. You could say, I loved the way you explained that difficult idea in such a simple way. Or, your examples made everything easy to follow. Detailed praise is more meaningful because it shows you were really paying attention. And remember, giving praise is not only about the words you choose, but also about your tone. A simple sentence like, that was great, can sound very different depending on how you say it. If your voice shows enthusiasm, the praise will feel much more real. Smiling, nodding, or clapping while you give praise also adds to the effect, making your words even stronger. Practicing these expressions will make your compliments sound more natural in English. Over time, you'll notice that people respond more positively, and your relationships will become warmer and stronger because of the way you use praise. Receiving praise can sometimes feel even harder than giving it. Many people are not sure how to respond, and they either say nothing or quickly change the subject. But in English, it's important to know how to accept compliments politely, because this shows confidence and good manners. The simplest response is, of course, thank you. It's short, clear, and always correct. But there are other useful ways to reply that sound natural and show a bit more personality. For example, if someone says, "That was a fantastic presentation," you could reply, "Thanks, I really appreciate that." Or you might say, "Thank you, I'm glad you enjoyed it." These sentences are polite and friendly, and they also keep the conversation flowing. If you want to show that you value the other person's opinion, you can say, "That means a lot coming from you." This response makes your gratitude feel deeper and more personal. Sometimes people feel shy or uncomfortable when receiving praise. They don't want to sound arrogant, so they try to be modest. In English, it's possible to do this in a polite way without rejecting the compliment. For instance, if someone says, "You explained that so well," you can respond with, "Thank you, but I still have more to learn." Or, "Thanks, I tried my best." These replies accept the praise while also showing humility. It's also common to share credit with others when someone compliments you. Imagine a colleague says, "You did a great job on that project." Instead of taking all the credit, you could reply, "Thank you, but I couldn't have done it without my team." This not only makes you sound humble, but also builds trust and respect. In group situations, giving credit to others is a very professional way to handle praise. Another useful expression is, "I'm happy it was helpful." This is especially good when someone praises your explanation, advice, or assistance. It shows that your main goal was to support them, not just to look good. Similarly, you can say, "I'm glad it worked out well," or "I'm pleased you found it useful." These phrases are excellent for everyday interactions, whether with friends, classmates, or colleagues. Finally, remember that body language is also important when you receive praise. A smile, eye contact, and a relaxed tone make your response feel more genuine. Even if you only say, "Thank you," your body language can communicate warmth and appreciation. Accepting praise with confidence is not about showing off. It's about respecting the other person's kindness and keeping the positive energy alive. Praise is not only for special achievements like finishing a big project or giving a presentation. It can also be a part of everyday life, and learning how to use it naturally in daily situations will make your English sound warmer and more engaging. Small compliments can make ordinary moments more positive, and they often help people feel noticed and valued. Think about meeting a friend who looks nice that day. Instead of just saying, "You look good," you can add more life to your compliment. "I really like your style today," or "That color looks great on you." These sentences are simple, but they feel more personal because they focus on details. Similarly, if a friend cooks for you, you can say, "This is delicious. You're such a good cook." Or, "I love the way you made this. It tastes amazing." Everyday praise like this creates warmth and strengthens friendships. In a study or work environment, smaller compliments can also make a big difference. For example, when someone shares an idea, you might say, "That's a smart idea," or "I like the way you explained that." If a classmate helps you, you can say, "Thanks, you explained it really clearly." At work, if a colleague finishes a task well, you could say, "You handled that perfectly," or "You really made that look easy." These little moments of praise build teamwork and show respect. Another powerful way to give praise in daily life is to recognize effort, not only results. Sometimes people work very hard, even if the outcome is not perfect. Saying, "I can see you put a lot of effort into this," or "You worked really hard and it shows," can be just as motivating as praising success. This kind of compliment encourages people to keep trying, and it shows that you notice the energy they put in. You can also make praise sound more natural by adding short emotional words. For example, Wow, that was great. Ugh, that's amazing. Or nice work. These little expressions are very common in English conversations, and they make praise sound casual and real. Using them will help you sound more like a native speaker in everyday situations. Finally, don't forget that praising someone is not only about making them feel good, it also improves your own relationships. When people see you as someone who notices their efforts and expresses appreciation, they are more likely to connect with you and respond positively. Simple compliments in daily life create a friendly atmosphere, and they make communication smoother, easier, and more enjoyable. One of the most powerful uses of praise is when it helps someone grow and improve. Compliments don't always have to be the final step. They can also be part of useful feedback. For example, if someone gives a presentation, you might say, "You explained your ideas very clearly, and I especially liked the examples you used." Then, if you want to suggest something, you can add, "Maybe next time you could slow down a little so everyone can follow." This way, the person feels encouraged by the praise, but also learns how to get even better. This combination of positive feedback and gentle advice is very common in English. It's sometimes called the praise and suggest approach. You focus first on what the person did well, and then you add one idea for improvement. For example, "Your story was really interesting and I enjoyed listening." It might be even stronger if you included a few more details. This balance makes your feedback easier to accept because the person hears appreciation as well as guidance. Another way to connect praise with improvement is by recognizing progress. If someone is learning English, instead of only saying, "Your English is good," you could say, "Your English has improved so much. You sound more confident each time we talk." This type of compliment encourages learners to keep going because it shows that their hard work is noticed. Progress-based praise is motivating, and it builds confidence step by step. It's also helpful to use phrases that show you are taking something on board. This means you are listening carefully to advice or feedback and planning to use it. If someone praises you and gives a suggestion, you can reply, "Thank you, I'll take that on board," or "I'll keep that in mind." These expressions make you sound open and professional, and they show that you value the other person's opinion. Sometimes, praise can also inspire reflection. When you receive a compliment, you might think it through. This means you stop and consider what the praise tells you about your strengths. For example, if several people say, "You're very clear when you explain things," that may be a signal that teaching or training could be one of your natural skills. In this way, praise is not only about feeling good in the moment, it can help you discover your talents and develop them further. The language of praise, whether in daily life or in professional settings, is more than just nice words. It is a tool for encouragement, connection, and growth. The more you practice giving and receiving praise naturally in English, the more positive and confident your communication will become.
Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word. Used to say it was good.
Quite the.
Praise given to someone for doing a good job.
Give credit.
The action of saying a person did a good job.
Praise.
Speech, demo, a meeting where you present something.
Presentation.
Make someone confident, help them do better.
Encourage.
To tell the truth, frankly speaking.
Honestly.
To publicly give special attention to someone for doing a good job.
Recognize.
Impressed by.
Blow someone away.
Suggestions for improvement.
Constructive criticism.
Amaze, impress.
To wow someone.
Used to show humbleness.
It was nothing.
Are entitled to.
Deserve.
Praises, credit.
Recognition.
Recall the past.
Look back on.
Advance, progress.
Improvement.
Help someone.
Give someone a hand.
A genius.
Whiz.
Adopt.
Take on board.
Other people's opinions.
Feedback.
To carefully consider and think about it.
Think through.
Good job.
Well done.
Let's try that faster.
Used to show humbleness.
It was nothing.
Amaze, impress.
To wow someone.
A genius.
Whiz.
Make someone confident. Help them do better.
Encourage.
Help someone.
Give someone a hand.
Are entitled to.
Deserve.
Advance, progress.
Improvement.
Recall the past.
Look back on.
Adopt.
Take on board.
Praises, credit.
Recognition.
Other people's opinions.
Feedback.
Good job.
Well done.
To tell the truth, frankly speaking.
Honestly.
Used to say it was good.
Quite the.
To carefully consider and think about it.
Think through.
Suggestions for improvement.
Constructive criticism.
The action of saying a person did a good job.
Praise.
Impressed by.
Blow someone away.
To publicly give special attention to someone for doing a good job.
Recognize.
Praise given to someone for doing a good job.
Give credit.
Speech, demo, a meeting where you present something.
Presentation.
Now say the word and hear it in a sentence.
Quite the. I heard you are quite the dancer. Can you teach me some moves? Quite the. Carl is quite the ladies' man. He is very good when it comes to talking to girls. Quite the. That's quite the car. You must have spent a lot of money on it. Blow someone away. Carl blew me away with his knowledge of political science. Blow someone away. I was blown away when I heard that Jenny and Rick had gotten married. They have known each other for less than a month. Blow someone away. My parents were blown away when they found out I had a tattoo. Look back on. When I look back and remember everything I did in high school, I feel so stupid. Look back on. When I look back, I'm amazed at all I have accomplished. Look back on. We raised 3 kids and worked full-time, so sometimes I look back and wonder how we did it. Take on board. Banks really need to take on board the views of their customers to understand them better. Take on board. It seems that young people are finally taking on board the message that it's not cool to smoke. Take on board. Mike is not the type of person that takes on board any feedback. Think through. I really need to think through my options in order to make a decision. Think through. We can't afford a mistake, so think things through and make sure you have everything ready. Think through. You should think through all these questions before you start writing your report.
Have you ever worked very hard on something and felt proud when you finally finished it? Can you remember a time when someone said, "Well done," to you and it made you feel happy? I'd love to hear about your experiences as you listen to mine. My name is Daniel, and today I want to tell you a real story about an important project I worked on in my office last year. At that time, I was part of a small team in a company that designs simple mobile apps. One morning, our manager told us that a big customer wanted a new app created in just 4 weeks. It was a very short deadline, and many of us were worried. But because I had some experience with similar projects, the manager asked me to take responsibility for leading this one. At first, I was nervous. I kept thinking, what if I make a mistake? Or what if we don't finish on time? But then I told myself to stay calm and focused. I began by making a very clear plan. I broke the large project into smaller tasks, and I gave each team member a part that matched their strength. Every morning, I checked our progress and made sure everyone knew exactly what to do. In the evenings, I stayed a bit longer at the office to review the code and fix small problems before they became big ones. Sometimes we were tired, and some days were harder than others, but I always tried to keep a positive attitude. I encouraged my teammates and reminded them that we could do it if we worked together. Slowly, the app started to take shape. After 2 weeks, we already had a basic version. After 3 weeks, we were testing and correcting mistakes. On the last day of the 4th week, we finished everything and sent it to the customer. The next morning, the customer called my manager and said they were very happy with the result. Later in the afternoon, my manager called me into his office. He smiled and said, "Daniel, well done. You did a great job leading the team." At that moment, I felt very proud and confident. All the long hours and effort were worth it. Before I continue, have you ever finished one big task and then immediately had to start another one? Even more difficult? Did it make you feel excited or tired? Think about your own situation as you listen to mine. Only 2 weeks after completing the first project, our manager came to me again. He said, "Daniel, the same customer is very impressed, and now they want a second app. But this time it's more complex, and they still want it in just 1 month." At first, I was happy that the customer trusted us again, but I was also worried because this new project had more features and required more careful planning. I started by calling the team together and explaining the new challenge. Everyone agreed to give their best, but we knew it would not be easy. I created another detailed schedule and divided the work just like before. However, after only a few days, we ran into unexpected problems. One of our key team members got sick and had to stay at home for a whole week. This meant the rest of us had to finish his tasks as well. We also discovered that one of the new features the customer requested was difficult to build and required skills that we did not have in our team. Instead of panicking, I took a deep breath and tried to stay calm. First, I asked the sick team member to help us from home by writing short instructions and sharing his knowledge online. Then, I started learning the new skill by watching short tutorials every evening after work. I also asked another teammate to learn it together with me so that we could help each other. It was exhausting, and sometimes I felt like giving up, but I reminded myself that good results only come from serious effort. By the end of the second week, we were a little behind schedule, but everyone was still motivated. We had already finished several important parts of the app, and we started to believe that even with all the difficulties, we could still succeed if we continued to work together and support each other. Have you ever been in a situation where everything seemed to go wrong, but then someone had a smart idea that changed everything? Did teamwork help you move forward in a difficult moment? During the third week of the project, the pressure became even stronger. The customer suddenly asked us to add an extra feature, a small tool inside the app that allowed users to save their progress automatically. This new feature was not part of the original plan, and if we accepted it, it would take even more time. I held a short meeting with my team and asked for their honest opinion. Some people were worried and suggested telling the customer that it was impossible. Others said we should at least try because we didn't want to disappoint the customer. After discussing for a while, one teammate, Sarah, suggested a creative solution. She said that instead of building the new feature completely from zero, we could reuse a similar part from one of our previous projects and modify it to fit the new app. This idea gave us hope. I immediately agreed, and the rest of the team supported it. We started working on Sarah's solution right away. We divided the new tasks among ourselves and helped each other whenever someone got stuck. We spent long evenings discussing ideas, testing different options, and fixing small errors. Sometimes we made mistakes and had to start again, but each time we were faster because we were learning and improving. The important thing was that nobody worked alone. We always asked questions and shared what we knew. By the end of the third week, we had successfully added the new feature and even fixed some old bugs that we had noticed earlier. We were still tired, but we felt a fresh wave of energy. For the first time since the beginning of the project, I felt truly confident that we could finish everything on time. Our teamwork and Sarah's creative idea turned a difficult situation into a possible one. Have you ever reached the end of a long and difficult task and suddenly realized that you learned something important from the experience? What kind of lesson did it teach you? At the beginning of the final week, our team was tired but full of determination. We only had a few days left before the deadline, and there were still some small parts to complete and test. I continued to check the progress every day and offered help whenever someone needed it. We focused fully on the project and didn't waste any time. Even during lunch breaks, we talked about the remaining tasks and shared tips to make the work faster. On the evening of the last day, we finally completed the entire app. We tested it one more time to make sure there were no errors, and then we sent it to the customer. After that, we all sat together in the office and looked at each other in silence for a moment. Then suddenly, everyone started smiling. Even though we were exhausted, we were also very proud. We had gone through many difficulties, but we had solved every problem step by step. The next morning, our manager invited us to the meeting room. He told us that the customer was extremely happy with the new app and said it was even better than the first one. The manager looked at me and said, "Daniel, you and your team did an excellent job under pressure. Congratulations." I thanked him, but I honestly felt that the real success came from the team, not just me. That experience taught me a valuable lesson. I learned that hard work is important, but teamwork and creative thinking are just as important. When people support each other and combine their skills, they can overcome even the biggest challenges. Since then, whenever I face a difficult job, I remind myself of that project, and I feel confident again. Thank you for listening to my story. What about you? Have you ever completed a difficult task with the help of a team? I would love to hear your experience.
Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word. Used to say it was good.
Quite the.
Praise given to someone for doing a good job.
Give credit.
The action of saying a person did a good job.
Praise.
Speech, demo, a meeting where you present something.
Presentation.
Make someone confident, help them do better.
Encourage.
To tell the truth, frankly speaking.
Honestly.
To publicly give special attention to someone for doing a good job.
Recognize.
Impressed by.
Blow someone away.
Suggestions for improvement.
Constructive criticism.
Amaze, impress.
To wow someone.
Used to show humbleness.
It was nothing.
Are entitled to.
Deserve.
Praises, credit.
Recognition.
Recall the past.
Look back on.
Advance, progress.
Improvement.
Help someone.
Give someone a hand.
A genius.
Whiz.
Adopt.
Take on board.
Other people's opinions.
Feedback.
To carefully consider and think about it.
Think through.
Good job.
Well done.
Let's try that faster. Used to show humbleness.
It was nothing.
Amaze, impress.
To wow someone.
A genius.
Whiz.
Make someone confident, help them do better.
Encourage.
Help someone.
Give someone a hand.
Are entitled to.
Deserve.
Advance, progress.
Improvement.
Recall the past.
Look back on.
Adopt.
Take on board.
Praises, credit.
Recognition.
Other people's opinions.
Feedback.
Good job.
Well done.
To tell the truth, frankly speaking.
Honestly.
Used to say it was good.
Quite the.
To carefully consider and think about it.
Think through.
Suggestions for improvement.
Constructive criticism.
The action of saying a person did a good job.
Praise.
Impressed by.
Blow someone away.
To publicly give special attention to someone for doing a good job.
Recognize.
Praise given to someone for doing a good job.
Give credit.
Speech, demo, a meeting where you present something.
Presentation.
Now say the word and hear it in a sentence.
Quite the. I heard you are quite the dancer. Can you teach me some moves? Quite the. Carl is quite the ladies' man. He is very good when it comes to talking to girls. Quite the. That's quite the car. You must have spent a lot of money on it. Blow someone away. Carl blew me away with his knowledge of political science. Blow someone away. I was blown away when I heard that Jenny and Rick had gotten married. They have known each other for less than a month. Blow someone away. My parents were blown away when they found out I had a tattoo. Look back on. When I look back and remember everything I did in high school, I feel so stupid. Look back on. When I look back, I'm amazed at all I have accomplished. Look back on. We raised 3 kids and worked full-time, so sometimes I look back and wonder how we did it. Take on board. Banks really need to take on board the views of their customers to understand them better. Take on board. It seems that young people are finally taking on board the message that it's not cool to smoke. Take on board. Mike is not the type of person that takes on board any feedback. Think through. I really need to think through my options in order to make a decision. Think through. We can't afford a mistake, so think things through and make sure you have everything ready. Think through. You should think through all these questions before you start writing your report.